What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life Metal. Gonna be doing a rock metal update. That's right. Gonna be doing a rock metal update and doing that stupid intro. What, for 5 or 6 years now? In any case, yeah, got some new albums here and a new vinyl I'm going to be showing off, so I'm going to get right into it. So this is a brand new Annihilator. This is Ballistic, Sadistic, and much like Motorhead or ACDC, you kind of know what you're going to get with Annihilator. Although they took some, some forays into other styles in the 90s. For the most part, Annihilator stuck to their musical guns, especially in the last 20 years. Annihilator just continued to put out music that Annihilator does. It's Jeff Waters. It's that fast machine gun riffing. It's the hooky songs. It's the kind of corny, goofy lyrics. It's exactly what you expect from Annihilator. The last album was on my turntable all year, made my top 20 of the year because it's just a great album. This one I've only heard a couple times, but from what I've heard so far, I really enjoy it, and I think it's calling me back for more listens. So there's old Jeff right there himself. So yeah, very enjoyable album from Annihilator. Like I said, with Annihilator you know what you're going to get, and on the Ballistic, Sadistic, they deliver. Same thing with this band, another Canadian band, another band. You just kind of know what you're going to get, If you like Motorhead and you like the later Motorhead, you're going to like, any new album that Motorhead put out. And of course, you're not going to get any more Motorhead, but you know what I mean. Same thing with ACDC, if you like the later ACDC albums, you pretty much know anything new that's coming out, what you're going to get. And same thing with this band. This is Anvil. This is their new album, Legal at Last. And yes, this is a very corny cover. And this one I've only got to hear a couple times as well. Really only got this one in the mail a couple days ago, so I'm not all that familiar with it. The last Anvil album I really liked, especially the first half of the album. It was just, I really felt that they had their, I don't know what the right word is for it. They just had something, it was Anvil and it was their sound, and they sang songs about Canadian legends, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, Anvil's always had kind of goofy lyrics, but with that album I really thought it was a great album. This one here, we'll see. Musically, it's all mid-paced. There's decent production, lots of heavy riffs. You know exactly what you're going to expect from Anvil, with Lips and his style of Ted Nugent inspired riffing and his and Rob's manic drumming. But lyrics, I don't know. For me, and I listen to metal. Like right now in the background, I'm listening to ACCUSER, Dependent Domination. I have no idea what they're singing about, and I don't really care. I'm listening to the music because I enjoy the music. I might even be able to sing along to parts. Doesn't mean I really know what the song's about. The songs really open up to interpretation for the most part. With Anvil, the lyrics are very simplistic, and you know exactly what he's talking about. And unfortunately, some of the times the things he's talking about, annoy me. And that's the case with a few songs on here. I don't really care about the Legal at Last thing. It's all songs about marijuana, but the first two songs are both about marijuana. The first being how it's finally legal in Canada to smoke marijuana, and whatever. It's not my thing. Not my thing. Not my bag, baby. And Nabs, Nebraska, it's about getting arrested in the U.S. for again for marijuana, and how smoking marijuana is not a criminal act, and that's just kind of what the first two songs are about. Then you get into Chemtrail, which is the whole Greta Thunberg, the Earth is coming to an end and any time now kind of song. Gasoline continues that same vibe with how the gas industry is destroying the world, and it controls the economy, and therefore we need to get rid of gasoline. And so I hear that kind of crap all the time on the news. You can't get away from it, and it just, do I really want to hear it on an Anvil song? So that's kind of where I'm at with at least the first 4 songs on this thing. But like I said, I've only heard it a couple times, so I can't really. I'm really shooting from just listening to it for those first couple times. So I enjoy Anvil. I've been an Anvil fan since 1983, when my buddy Tony Lou turned me on to Metal on Metal, and I've just been a fan ever since. I bought every album as a new release, and obviously I continue to do so. So I'm sure I will find it enjoyable, even if the first couple listens didn't do it for me like the last album did. New EP from SODOM. This is a 2020 release in the United States, as far as I know. Might have come out at the end of 2019 in Europe, but didn't come out here until this year. But although the copyright does say 2019 on the back, but I'm positive this thing, I pre-ordered it, so it didn't come out till 2020. So you got Out in the Frontline Trench by German thrash metal legends, SODOM. But you basically have a new band here with only one remaining member, one remaining original member. But I think the new band members really brought some new energy into the band, and maybe that's what Tom was looking for. Tom Angel Ripper was looking for. You know, he needed that some new energy, some new fresh faces. I don't know. But in any case, what you got here is awesome. I mean, I really have liked almost everything SODOM have put out. But yeah, this is a very cool EP. So you've got 5 songs. So you got 3 new songs on the A side, and on the B side you got a re-recorded, brutal version of Agent Orange, and then you got a live version of Bombahegel. I can't speak German. So I'm sure I butchered that, but there you go. So I'm really happy to have it. Out of the Frontline Trenches. Again, one that I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the Anvil as well. This is at the end of 2019 as well, and I actually missed it. I don't know how I missed it because I love this band, but this is Black Star Riders. This is the band that was formed out of the Thin Lizzy, traveled around for years under the banner, playing old Lizzy songs, keeping the music alive, and of course Phil Lynott passed away a long time ago, but they were keeping the music alive, and I kind of appreciated that. Various members came and went from Thin Lizzy's past. Now there's one Thin Lizzy member left. This is their 4th album under the name Black Star Riders. I think it was a good idea that the band changed their name. Rather than calling themselves Thin Lizzy, they changed their name to Black Star Riders, and they've been recording music under that name. And they've released 4 stellar albums. So if you like that kind of Irish-influenced hard rock that Lizzy did, this is not that far off. No, it's not a clone. You're not going to think this is Thin Lizzy, but it does have that same sound, that same influence, and I really dig it. So you've got Scott Gorham is the only guy in the band who was formerly in Thin Lizzy. And last time I saw these guys opening up for Judas Priest and Saxon, and they actually played mostly Black Star Rider songs. They only played one Thin Lizzy song, which I believe it was Jailbreak. And so here's the band. I thought there was a picture of the band here. Maybe I'm wrong. Ricky Warwick on vocals. Ricky Warwick, of course, used to sing for a band called The Almighty. Oh yeah, there's a picture on the inside. So there's a picture of the band. And you can see where's Scott at. There's Scott over here. But like I said, he's the only member that was actually in Thin Lizzy, so a wise decision to change the name back in the day. So I mean, without Phil Lynott, it'll never be Thin Lizzy, I did see that line, that Thin Lizzy lineup performing Lizzy songs, and I still enjoyed it. I mean, it was great hearing all those Lizzy songs live again. So, all right, next up, no more new releases. This is I don't care if I show this one or not, but this is Voivod Caters. I'm glad to finally get this one on vinyl. I may have showed it before, but regardless, I've been listening to it quite a bit, so highly recommended album from them. This is Voivod, and in the early days of Voivod, they were manic, they were noisy, they were chaotic, thrash metal. It's not that. It's when they moved into the more progressive sounds, when they were mixing, the metal with the prog. That's kind of what you're getting here, and I think this is a fantastic album. I think it's one of the best, really. One of the best they've done since the 80s, in my opinion. Jason Newsted, bass down here in the corner at this point in the game. So glad to finally pick this one up on vinyl. Great album if you can find it. Highly worth picking up on any format. This band, I'm real excited about their new album, 2020, because their vocalist, George Call, is just, I think he's one of the best modern day metal vocalists ever. But this is Resist or Serve from Cloven Hoof, just one that I was missing from the Cloven Hoof collection. New wave of British heavy metal band who's still out there kicking. High Roller Records. I don't know when this one came out. I think it was just a few years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, 2014, 15, somewhere in that area. But yeah, solid, straightforward heavy metal. Some might call it power metal. It's not European power metal by any stretch of the imagination. There's no keyboards. It's not all Dungeons and Dragons and blast beats and all that kind of thing. It's just straightforward, old school heavy metal. So great album from them. Really enjoyed it. Lee Payne on bass. I believe he was the he might be the only original member left in the band from the New Wave British Heavy Metal days. Can't remember 100% though. Could be wrong on that. Now, if you would have asked me a year and a half, 2 years ago if I had this album in my collection, I would have said absolutely yes. But one day I went to look for it in my collection and realized, oh, I only have it on CD. I was sure I had it on vinyl. So I've been kind of looking for a decent price copy of this one for a while. This is Chastain, Mystery of Illusion. Ended up getting this one in a trade. Glad to finally score a copy because I just wasn't showing up anywhere. I mean, for, you know, 20 bucks or under. I mean, I'm just not willing to pay $50 for a Chastain record, you know. It's a good album. It's a very good album. I enjoy it a lot, but I'm not paying $50 for it. So managed to score it in a trade with somebody, and I had a lot of stuff for trade, so it worked out well. This is on Shrapnel Records, probably 1984, 85. It's odd there's no Shrapnel logo on the back, but Leather Leone on vocals, and Leather's got kind of, well, I mean, there's a reason her name is Leather Leone. You know, she's got Leather Lung Leone. She's kind of got that heavy metal grit. She's not, she's no vixen, you know what I mean? She's not singing pop metal or pop rock. She's a metal singer through and through. Kind of, you know, that same spirit that Joan Jett. You know, Joan Jett's always been a rocker. Leather Leone, man, she's a metal girl, and you can tell she's just got that style and perfect fit for this band. And I like Chastain, I like CJSS, I even like David T. Chastain's solo stuff. So big fan of David Chastain. So glad to finally have an original copy of Mystery of Illusion in my collection. This next pile, 1, 2, 3. There's actually 4. I'm missing one here. It's sitting over there. I'm going to grab it, so I'm going to cut the video right back. Alright, I'm going to show this one first. So what do we got here? Nuclear Assault. This is a recently released, I don't know how recent, but in the last few years. Their live album from the early 90s, live with the Hammersmith Odeon. Have this on CD. I've had it since it came out. Was surprised it came out on vinyl, but I enjoy it, so I grabbed it because it was well under 20 bucks. I think it was like 15 bucks, and so I snagged it. It is a black on black release. It's they have a gatefold. I don't know why, because the gatefold is nothing special about it. But it's only a single album. There's a huge mistake on the album that some engineer should have caught. Whoever put this together and for a vinyl totally screwed up the. See, it was the intro for Trail of Tears. So after Torture Tactics ends, track number 7. The kind of song fades out, and you hear John Connolly yell, "This next song is called Travel Cheers," and then all of a sudden, you kind of hear the feedback of the guitar, and it fades out to silence. It's like, that's weird. But then all of a sudden, it comes back in, and you hear John Connolly again say, "This next song is called Travel Tears," and you hear the same song starting again. So it's a live album, so there should be no gaps, and they repeated that little piece of John Connolly introducing the song twice. It's totally a big mistake in the production, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, it's not a big deal, but still it is a pretty big deal. I mean, for a big company like Back in Black, that's a pretty big mistake, but I understand. I mean, I work with, you know, with record industry, so I understand how easily stuff can happen like that and get missed, but just kind of a funny observation, a funny mistake. Nuclear Assault, The Plague. Again, I picked this one up in a trade. And again, this is an original pressing. I had a High Roller reissue, but the guy I traded with for the Chastain also had this, so I snagged it. I'd frankly rather have the original pressing, and it's in fantastic shape. Someone tried to cover up the word right there. the butt fuck word. Yeah, someone tried to cover that up with a sticker or something like that. Maybe it was like that from the beginning. I was able to take that off fairly easily with a little bit of cleaning, cleaning solutions, film cleaning solution. So this is a pristine copy. The vinyl's perfect. The cover's, you know, near perfect, and 6-song EP. It's a classic. If you know Nuclear Assault, you know this. New York style crossover thrash metal featuring John Connolly, of course, on vocals. But you got let's see. You got Glenn Evans on drums, who of course was with TT Quick, and then what's his name, Dan Loker, who was formerly in Anthrax and was given the left foot of fellowship out of Anthrax after their first album, Fistful of Metal. And yeah, this is another one they got from that same trader. This is original pressing of Survive. Again, just one that I was missing on vinyl. I've had the CD for I've had a CD for decades, but it was glad to finally pick up the vinyl. Hard to pick a favorite album from Nuclear Assault for me. It just depends. I mean, I really like the first album, but I really like all their albums. Something Wicked, an album people despise for some reason. I think it's a great album. I love that album, so I don't know which one is my favorite, but if forced, I might pick Survive. I just think this is a fantastic album. And of course, this is one that I was, I grew up with. I was in college when this came out, probably what, 88, 89, somewhere in that area. And, so was I in college? No, I was in high school when this came out, right? 85, no, 89. I don't know, let me just double check. Okay, 88, I was in college. And I just remember playing it over and over again. Regardless of what year it came out, it's just one that I've been playing for years and years. Again, it's, like I said, crossover thrash metal. It's got that punk influence. Very different from what you heard with Anthrax. It doesn't quite have the new wave of British heavy metal influence like you heard in Fistful of Metal. And even Anthrax moved more towards, incorporating more hardcore into their sound and punk into their sound as they progress. And that's definitely going to hear that with Nuclear Assault. Some people didn't like John Connolly's kind of over-the-top, hyper vocals. I like his vocals a lot. So this one I did not pick up from that trader. Actually, just because I was like in a Nuclear Assault vibe and mood, I looked them up on eBay and see if there was anything. Getting records on eBay is just ridiculous anymore. Everything's overpriced. But I picked up the Good Times Bad Times single. And surprisingly, I picked it up cheap. I bid on it. Nobody else did, so I grabbed it. Very inexpensively. Really happy to have it. It's not something you're going to listen to a lot. I did spin it once because it's got the B-side stand-up, which is not on Survive, but it's a cool little, 2-song single, promotional single for Survive. Good Times, Bad Times, the Zeppelin cover. I even like their Zeppelin cover. I think they took a song that's very bluesy and they somehow stripped it of the blues and made it a Nuclear Assault song. So I kind of dig it. I did lie. There is one more new release. So this is a 2019 release, just one that I didn't get until recently. So you got British thrash from XENTRIX. This is the Bury the Pain. This is one that I wish I would have had last year because I would have made my list for 2019. This is just a great album, great UK thrash metal. I'm listening to this and I'm just thinking, when I'm listening to it, I'm a huge Detritus fan, and Detritus is another UK thrash band. And I was really hearing Detritus in this, which just goes to show they really have that kind of UK vibe. You know what I mean? They don't sound like Metallica clones, which are like that whole Bay Area. You can always tell when a band's trying to sound like the Bay Area bands, or when they're trying to sound like the Teutonic bands. They really have that British sound going on here, and I really kind of dig it. Great recording too. The recording quality is fantastic because it's heavy guitars and you can hear every instrument clearly, but it's not overproduced. So yeah, great album. Listenable records. Came out in 2019 at some point. So glad to have it, and that's it. That is my vinyl update for, what are we in, March of 2020. So appreciate you all watching. Look forward to chatting with you below. And that's it. God bless. Stay strong.